everybody, and welcome to Hex Token channel. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Let's get into it, and on your way in, don't forget to smash the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. We're going to have a great session as well, and where there is an opportunity, we're going to point it out, so wait for that. That's coming up. All right, let's see who's here, and who is here indeed. We've got Tortoise Johnny. That thumbnail, do you like the thumbnail? Yeah, I got that off Twitter too. That was pretty cool. A turtle, was it a turtle on a tortoise? Is it a tortoise? Yeah, Tortoise Johnny, a tortoise on rollerblades, I think it was, with a really cool Pulsechain hex colors and stuff like that. Hey Ted, cheers Ted for the membership and Super Alpha. A big shout out there to Brendan, appreciate that, big one, and very cool. 4 month member, awesome there, appreciate that. Big shout out to you. We got, who else in the house there? We got Dave Down Under with the amount of views on RH's latest announcement. Watch the Hex bounce when V3 testnet is live. Oh, well, that's going to be crazy, yeah. These people are a bit crazy out there. We'll talk about that when we come up. We've got quite a few updates around the Pulsechain update on today's live show, so wait for that. We're going to get into the stock market, of course, get into crypto, some of the crypto news, then get into Hex, talk about all the Pulsechain updates. And then, of course, we're going to get into Pulsex too. Is that Pulsex update? Yes, there is. And we're going to also talk about Hedron of Icosa, of course, and then wrap up with the Hex. And, of course, what's coming up for the global stakes and the share aid. So stay tuned for all that. It's going to be fun. Sensational artwork, by the way. Yeah, I don't know whose it is. I just pinched it as usual. There's been a lot of really good artwork. I've been saving it all up, so you can expect a lot more thumbnails with some cool artwork because some people are doing some good stuff out there with the AI. Pretty cool. Xenologist in the house says Hex, what's that, Hexian? Love Hex and Zen. Yeah, well, there's a lot of Hexians out there. Let's go, says Hex Token. Welcome to the chat. And Ted Nelson says, hey, everybody, looks like another buying opportunity. Absolutely. These pullbacks, and I consider this one a very rational pullback, but hey, look, it's maybe end up being healthy for the long run. And, of course, but it is an opportunity to pick up Hex cheaper, right, after the run. So it's kind of cool. Xenologist says a Turbo Turtle. Absolutely, Turbo Turtle. And we got John Gibbons in there. Evening all. Good to see you, John. Property review in the house there. The best crypto channel. I appreciate that sentiment. Very cool. Hey, but more importantly, we got the best community, right? That's the number one thing. We got the best community in the house. Brennan says, Hessel accelerates 4 months of memberships. Cheers, Ted, for the membership and Super for the alpha. Hey, you're awesome, Brendan. I appreciate that. What else? The best crypto channel. Yeah, you reworded that correctly, didn't you? Yeah, nice one there, property review. Katie's in the house there. Hey there, Superman. Good to see everybody. Hey, Katie, always a pleasure. And, oh, man, we got another membership in 9 months. So coming up for Lies Beneath. Big shout out. Hex Token for the win. 100% Lies Beneath. Appreciate the support as a big time. Now, as you guys know, I'm streaming every day and doing lots of other short form videos and trying to be consistent with that. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. And of course, you can join as a member by hitting the join button. We've got Pulsekins, Hexkins, and Richard Hart Club. And it's great to see a couple of the members rejoining there. So big shout out and thanks for the support. Yama's in house says, when is Richard going to make the announcement? Well, that's in the future. It's months away, I would say, Yama. But we're getting closer to testnet and then mainnet probably after that. It just depends on how smoothly all the code goes and things like that. We're going to talk about that a bit later in the live stream. Check My Pulse says, woohoo, evening Superman. What's up, Hexkins? Good to see Check My Pulse. Blobfish King in the house as well. Hey, all buying the dip but waiting for the high gas prices to go down. Yeah, I think they've been quite high lately, haven't they? So that's definitely something people want to get down. Lost in Crypto in the house as well. Actually, I need to make this studio a little bit bigger. What's up? Good to see you, Lost in Crypto. And, of course, Lies Beneath in with the alpha. Hello, how are you today? Very good, of course. Hex, EHEX, PLS, and PLSX for the one. That is the maxi strategy on this channel. Don't forget that. We do talk about crypto and other projects, but really, Richard Hart's is the gold standard. And, hey, look, if you did nothing else and held those over time, that's all you would need for the big X returns. That's your probabilities on your side. Remember, always do your investment due diligence. Nothing on this channel is investment advice. But, of course, we've got all the links in the video description to hex.com and much more, so check them all out. What else do we got? Lost in Crypto says, Superman, a dumb man, says Lost in Crypto. Appreciate that. Brendan says, I had 50 characters to work with. I want to write Cheers Superman for all the alpha. I appreciate that, Brendan. You're most welcome. Alfred's in the house there. Woo-hoo-hoo. Good to see you, Alfred, as well. And Brendan brings the alpha too. We appreciate Brendan's input into the channel there. Lights Beneath celebrates 9 months of membership. Hex Token for the win. Yeah, woohoo! That's awesome, man. That is awesome. Brizology says, let's go. Absolutely, let's go, Briz. Always a pleasure to see Briz in the house. Humberto says, cheers from where you know where. Yeah, I know. That's the sunny in Miami, crypto capital of the world. I know, Humberto. I got a funny feeling that this is the weekend we get a testnet V3. Woo, says Humberto. Yeah, you might get a surprise to the upside, right? There's always the chance of getting that. Hello, Hex Token and everybody from Sandy Beach. We got Francis in the house as well. Hello, Francis. Good to see you. So I think we've caught up there on the comments. So big welcome to everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button. Let's get into it, folks. Let's get into the stock market news. Let's go. All right, here we are. So the Standard & Poor's gives up gains as deeper yield curve inversion spooks stocks. Deeper yield conversion. We're going to talk about that in a second. Spooks stocks there. Remember, I think there's going to be different catalysts affecting the stock market from crypto. You know, we don't have underlying earnings for a lot of projects and things like that. So it's a very different sort of market. Let's have a look here. We've got the Dow Jones Industrials, the top 30 industrial United States, down 0.7 of 1%. It's 249 points, down to 33,699 on the index. The S&P 500 is down almost 0.9%, 36 points, down to 4,081. Still over 4,000. That's kind of cool. Nasdaq there is, with all the tech companies in it, is down 1%, down 121 points to 11,789. So it's gone below 1,200 the other day, and that's where it is. Now the dollar index is also down slightly versus its trading partners, down to 103.10 versus the its trading partners. So really risk off today. And of course, let's have a look at the commodities. We got Brent oil down 1.15%, almost $1, down to $84 for a barrel for Brent oil. And of course, West Texas there is pretty much flat, just down a tad, 4 cents, down to $77.62. We've got gold down 1%, down $20, down to 1,870. So it's dropped below the 1,900 mark. And silver there down 2.24%. It's pretty decent pullback. 50 cents down to 21.91. Remember, it was only a couple of days ago that we were up at $24. So silver's come down there. And let's have a look at the commentary. So unfortunately, it's red today. The S&P 500 fell Thursday, reversing intraday gains. So gains that made during the day of trading as an ongoing slip in Alphabet. Of course, that's a Google, and fresh warnings on the economy from the bond market weighed on investor sentiment. So tech company with the Google, Alphabet there, and of course the bond market reversal. So yield curve reversal there. So let's jump into some of the commentary. The 2-year and the 10-year Treasury yield curve inverted by 85 basis points. The deepest inversion since early 1980s, triggering fresh worries about economic troubles as inversions tend to precede a recession. And of course, we were pretty much by the end of the last year, pretty much at 90% probability of recession. And I still think that we're going to have it, but it probably may end up being softer than I originally thought, given the fact the trend in the financials leading into this point. So we're going to keep a tab on that though, because numbers can move around, to the surprise. Worries about a recession have been belayed by a strong labor market, though following jobless claims data released Thursday that surprised to the upside. And remember, we got that data out. We had actual data come 196,000 jobs. This is for initial jobless claims, 196,000. Forecast was 190, so just slightly above that. That's kind of I guess positive news there. The surprise to the upside, some suggest the recent surge in layoffs will start to push claims higher later this year. The big picture here, though, is that the surge in layoff announcements reported in the Challenger survey will pass through into claims by late winter, early spring, allowing the usual lags. Remember how we talked about lags with the interest rates and things like that, and job numbers coming off in this particular case? Well, these lags that we're talking about, they sort of impact the numbers later on down the line. So that is the interest rate inversion there, and the impact with labor markets. And of course talks about recession and things like that. Moving to the tech front, the Alphabet was one of the biggest drags on the broader market as fallout from its underwhelming event on Wednesday when it unveiled its AI chatbot Bard continued. This is the third day now we've been talking about this, the Bard. We think the Google Live from Paris event was disappointing, UBS said, adding that the company failed to directly respond to Microsoft's integration of ChatGPT into Bing search yesterday. Much of what was discussed was elaborating on previously announced products like Google Lens, Translate, and Multisearch, with less incremental updates than what we were expecting. Financials also weighed in on the market, pressured by a dip in banks as an inverted yield curve in which short rates are higher than long rates. So if you're wondering what the inverted yield curve is there, the short rates, the 2-year rates, longer are higher than the long rates, the 10 years, tends to keep a lid on bank lending margin profitability. Bank of America Corp, First Republic Bank, and Citigroup Inc. led the losses in financials for the banks, while Willis Towers Watson also added pressure despite reporting better than expected quarterly results. Funnily enough, a rally in casino stocks followed a better than expected quarter results from Wynn Resorts Limited and MGM Resorts International, kept consumer stocks above the flat line. And getting to the child grooming company, Walt Disney Company, meanwhile gave up some gains to trade marginally higher than after the entertainment company reported quarterly results that topped Wall Street estimates. The company also announced a restructuring that will include 7,000 jobs as part of a move to restructure the business that could result in $5.5 billion in cost savings. The cost savings measures appeared to appease activist investor Nielsen Pals, who said he would end his proxy battle for a board seat. The proxy fight is over. This is a win for all shareholders, a spokesperson for Pelt's Trian Fund Management said. So there we are. That's pretty much the highlights there for the stock market. Not the best week for the stock market this week, but of course we've still got Friday results to go tomorrow when I report them. It'll be Saturday my time. Friday results there. So let's jump into crypto though, and we've had a bit of news around crypto. Crypto pulled back. Just the way it goes sometimes, right? Just the way it goes. So BTC was holding up there at around 23,000, got as high as 24, and now it's down 4.65%, down to 21,865 on the old BTC. ETH is down close to 6% at 1,552. This is down about $100 from yesterday. BNB is at 307. That is down 6%, about $20 from yesterday. So that's pretty much it. USDC, remember USDC was under peg for about a week or something. It was like down, even got, I think, was it as low as 98.7 or something? I think it did. It was definitely in the $99 range, and that is now over peg. So it's now $1.02 for the USDC, and that is up 2.29%. So over peg there. Looking a bit more like LUSD from Liquidity there, isn't it? DAI is also at a premium on the stablecoin, $1.02 there, up 2.86. And I think USD Tether there is just, it's a bit grey. It's not feeding properly, but it's at $1 peg based on that. Now, let's have a look at any of the really outliers here. We've got Matic is down 5.43%, $1.23. SHIB is down 11% there. Look at that, SHIB down 11%. What else is looking interesting? I guess Crypto.com is down 7% at 7.7. What else is looking interesting there? ADA is down 7.8% at 36 cents. And I think that's probably the ones that are interesting at the moment. Let's have a look at FTT. FTT, remember that was still in the top 100. It was like 98 yesterday, or 99. That is down 18%. That's down pretty dramatically. $1.59. It survives. Welcome to crypto, and the fact that it's still in the top 100, that's pretty funny. All right, let's jump over to the crypto news. Crypto exchange Kraken settles with SEC for $30 million. Man, the SEC, is it running its own business? Is the SEC running its own business? What do you guys reckon? You reckon that's why it's taking such a punitive approach rather than a more reasonable regulation approach? I think it's into the business of profit. So crypto exchange Kraken settles with the SEC for $30 million. Will close US staking operation for Kraken there. Crazy stuff. Crypto exchange Kraken will shutter its US staking operation and will pay for $30 million settlement. The SEC said Kraken failed to register the offer and sale of the crypto asset staking as a service program. Hey, look, the way I see it is that we've got DeFi. DeFi is the solution to this, and we're in DeFi. We're in pure DeFi. We think that DeFi is the place of the future, and of course, Pulsechain is going to transform that. That's one of the mega themes for Pulsechain, is that Pulsechain is going to absolutely expand. It's going to do what Hex did for Uniswap. Pulsechain is going to do for DeFi. I really think that's a pretty good analogy, and in the broad terms there, and I think that's going to be profound. Yeah, immutable contracts, you mint your own returns, your own yield, there's no middleman, and you own the keys to your coins. I mean, these are all the issues that the regulator's talking about with the CeFi and the centralized exchanges. And of course, with the DeFi, when it's done properly, as it will be on Pulsechain for the most part, it's going to be pretty awesome. Now, obviously, there's going to be lots of rubbish projects on there, but most of the capital is going to flow to the good projects, and it's only the people that are degening into pump and dumps and things like that, and questionable projects that are going to get wrecked. But we're going to have so many quality projects on Pulsechain. It's going to be crazy good. So the SEC said that Kraken failed to register the offer and sale of the crypto asset staking as a service program. Crypto exchange Kraken will shutter its U.S. crypto staking operation and pay a $30 million fine to settle an enforcement action alleging it sold unregistered securities, and said the SEC. The SEC claims that Kraken failed to register the offer and sale of its crypto service staking as a service program. U.S. investors had crypto assets worth over $2.7 billion on Kraken's platform. The SEC alleged earning Kraken around about $147 million in revenue. And of course, that revenue on Hex goes to you, the staker. So just remember. All right, so that's kind of cool. Many centralized exchanges like Kraken and Gemini offer customers the option to stake their tokens in order to earn yield on their digital assets that would otherwise sit idle on the platform. With crypto staking, investors typically vault their crypto assets with a blockchain validator, which verifies the accuracy of transactions on the blockchain. So obviously, when you stake Hex, the Hex gets burned. So it takes out of the circulating supply. Investors can receive additional crypto tokens as a reward for locking away those assets. More than 135,000 unique users are registered for Kraken's stake platform. The SEC said whether it's through staking as a service, lending, or other means, crypto intermediaries, and of course there's not intermediaries in DeFi. Once the contract is up and running immutable, there's no intermediary there. When offering investment contracts in exchange for investors' tokens, companies must provide the proper disclosures and safeguards required by our securities law, said Gary Gensler. And the latest in a series of SEC actions targeting the crypto industry, and comes just weeks after the SEC alleged the crypto lender Genesis and crypto exchange Gemini allegedly offered and sold unregistered securities. The SEC alleged that to incentivize users, Kraken promised investors in the staking platform program enhanced liquidity and immediate rewards. Kraken marketed and touted the staking platform as an investment opportunity. The SEC claimed with net income from US-based users reaching nearly 15 million on revenue of 45 million. Kraken advertised on its website returns up to 20% annual percentage yield through its staking product. The exchange also promised on its website to deliver those rewards to customers twice per week. Kraken did not admit or deny the allegations made by the SEC complaint. Shares in crypto exchange Coinbase slid sharply on Thursday after CEO Brian Armstrong warned that potential SEC action in retail crypto staking would be a terrible path. And indeed. So we're going to follow on to that story over into Coinbase now with Brian Armstrong. So Coinbase shares fall as SEC takes crypto staking action against Kraken. Coinbase shares fall as SEC takes crypto staking action against Kraken, and of course it's having a bit of a contagion. So this is one of these things that these are one of these sort of black swan events almost, although this is somewhat visible, so maybe it's a grey swan event. Coinbase shares closed down 40% after an SEC action against rival exchange Kraken in connection with its staking platform. Investors also reacted to comments from CEO Brian Armstrong on the dangers of potential SEC action against crypto staking more generally. Coinbase shares have enjoyed a significant rally year to date, but remain down for the day, week, and since Coinbase 2021 IPO. Coinbase shares closed down more than 40% Thursday after CEO Brian Armstrong voiced concerns on rumors that the Securities and Exchange Commission was mulling new enforcement action against crypto staking. Now, obviously, there's a lot of issues here around innovation, around financial markets, and of course, not just centralized entities and intermediaries like Coinbase and Kraken. Obviously, we don't have that in DeFi. We don't have these issues, right? So Yeah, that's the kind of thing. If they were going to put trying to regulate the DeFi, there'd have to be very simplified regulations, just to maybe what the minimum disclosure that you have in the document when it actually launches. Because after it launches, it's immutable on the blockchain. So that's just the way it goes. And in particular for Hex, Hex is brilliant because you actually burn your coins and get them back at the end of your stake period with the inflation yield. So it's pretty cool like that. So you're minting them back. You're doing it all yourself. You're interacting with the contract. So a very different concept, right? Those rumors coalesced on Thursday afternoon when the SEC announced the settlement with Coinbase rival Kraken. The SEC alleged that Kraken had engaged in unregistered offerings. Many centralized exchanges, including Coinbase, offer customers the option to stake their tokens in order to earn yield on the digital assets that would otherwise sit idle on the platform. With crypto staking, investors typically vault their crypto assets with a blockchain validator, which verifies the accuracy of transactions on the blockchain. Investors can receive additional crypto tokens as a reward for locking those away. I think they're confusing the different offerings in here, but hey. Coinbase has a staking service called Earn, which currently offers 6% interest rates to customers. The company recorded $62 million in revenue from blockchain rewards for the 3 months ending the 30th of September. About 10% of its $590 million in total revenue for that time. Isn't it cool to be a centralized platform and be the middleman? Isn't it cool? You earn these juicy profits, a bit like MetaMask too, earning these juicy profits. Of course, we want DeFi to start getting rid of that, right? So internet money will start, and maybe Heart Wallet start redistributing profits instead of going to the middleman. And of course, our DeFi products like Hex and all the ones coming to Pulsechain looking to do profit sharing. See how it's so superior in DeFi, and the quality of DeFi is going to be really, really important going ahead. We're obviously Hex has helped lead the way. Hex had audits, contract audits, economic audits. Just led the way on things, and of course nothing's changed here, right? In fact, the environment is even getting better and better and better and better all the time for the DeFi solutions, and particularly spurring off Richard Hart's ecosystem he's building with Pulsechain. It's going to be really, really kind of cool. Like I say, what Hex did for Uniswap, Pulsechain is going to do for DeFi. It's going to be really, really exciting. As potentially lucrative revenue stream for Coinbase, which charges a staking commission ranging from 25 to 35% of the rewards that users gain by staking their crypto. Armstrong tweeted that the night before Kraken action to express his concern over a terrible path the SEC would be pursuing if it classified crypto staking as security. We're hearing rumors that the SEC would like to get rid of crypto staking in the US for retail customers. This is a disaster. Why? Because all it was going to do is push people overseas. They'll be using different ways to get around this. And of course trying to go overseas to products, and maybe they get themselves involved in bad exchanges run in different countries that aren't run very well, and that's the real risk they face. Now, of course, there's hundreds of exchanges, so there's going to be lots of opportunities out there, and some of them have better track records than others. They can decide for yourself there. I hope that's not the case, as I believe it would be a terrible path for the US if that is not allowed to happen. So yeah, I think it's bad for financials, bad for innovation. It goes on and on and on. So we're hearing rumors that the SEC would like to get rid of crypto staking for the US terror investors. I hope this is not the case. When it comes to financial services and Web3, it's a matter of national security that these capabilities be built out in the US. I agree with that as well. Obviously, a massive revolution in Web3 going on, and that's set to keep continuing to grow. Thursday's sell-off comes on the heels of a positive year-to-date rally for Coinbase and significant tumult for the crypto industry at large. Coinbase is up over 77% in 2023. But it is down 76% since the beginning of 2022 and down over 82% since 2021 IPO. Coinbase reports the fourth quarter 2022 earnings after the bell on February the 21st. So that is some of the crypto news. And of course, Gary Gensler had to get himself in the mix. Got to get himself in the mix after his FTX shenanigans. He had to get himself. So today, the SEC charged Kraken for the unregistered offer and sale of securities through its stake as a service program, whether it's through staking, a service lending, or other means. Crypto intermediaries must provide the proper disclosure and safeguards required by our laws. Now, he's got a video here. I wasn't sure whether it had copyright music, so I'm not going to play it. I had queued it up to play. Decided against that because I don't want to get copyrights pinged on it. I got 6 copyright pings about a month ago playing stuff like this, and it damaged the channel, unfortunately. So there we are. He's got a video there. I will post the link to this video if you want to watch it in your own time, and I may try to post it as a standalone video after this live stream, so that if it does get pinged, it just pings the video by itself. So here is Gary, SEC. and you can watch this video about the staking. I guess they're targeting centralized staking in particular in the US. So that is it there. It's just going to continue to push people to DeFi, isn't it? I think Check My Pulse put that in there. That is the link, and Check My Pulse said, yeah, we'll push people to DeFi. Absolutely, we'll push people to DeFi on that one. So that is the crypto news. So stock market and crypto news. Let's get into it. Before we get into Hex, of course, we're going to get into some of the comments in the chat, and let us find where those comments are. No, you're welcome. Let's go back up here and find out where the comments are. Welcome everybody, by the way. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. Yama says, I sacrificed 65,000 in Pulsechain. That makes me a millionaire on launch. That probably will do, Yama. I best not to go around talking about what you sacrificed and giving your financial numbers out there, Yama. It's a bit late now for that, but I do strongly suggest people do not dox themselves and their sacrifices of their positions in any way. I know Trayvon did it yesterday. Trayvon had $172,000 stake coming out, about 3.5 million X. He was sending it around. Of course, his official address, I think, is doxed as a Trayvon.eth or something. But hey, it's best generally not to do stuff like that. Micro R says 2023, the year of Pulsechain. Absolutely is the year of Pulsechain. And France says, hi, Sandy Beach. Sandy says, today I was planning my summer beach vacation. Yay. Wow, that's cool, Sandy. Well, you don't want to spend summer in New Zealand. Apparently, we had all those floods like a week ago. Apparently, we've got this a huge potential storm. I think it's called Gabriel, coming potentially on Sunday here, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday or something. And we may have up to winds of 150 kilometers per hour. So that would be pretty insane. So hopefully that's going to, so far it's staying on course to hit us. So hopefully it's going to miss us somehow, get moved off. So we've got about another day, I think, until we find out whether that's really locked in or not. So apparently that's going to be apparently if it does occur to that full extent, it could be the worst storm in 100 years, they say. Now I'm taking them for their word on that one, so we'll see. Hopefully not, because 150k winds, that's pretty bad. Hopefully the roof on the house stays on. That's pretty important, right? Smash the like button. Let's support Superman, awesome content creator in our community, day after day, every day. Thank you, Superman, says Berta. I appreciate that. I actually didn't even put the comment on the chat there. I might have to get a demerit point for that, Humberto. I'll get demerit point. That is the comment there. Brennan says, drinking my oat milk latte while watching a show. Nice one, Brennan. It's always good to watch the show in style, and I agree with I endorse Brenton's drinking behaviors. Top 5 crypto says, love that turtle thumbnail. I know, it's epic, eh? And I got it off Twitter, but it is awesome. I saw it and I go, hey, this kind of describes the Hex chart today, so I'm definitely going to talk about that. Do we think the Pulsechain bug is fixed? They don't have to start over. They can start from where the bug first caused the issue, according to K4K Crypto. We're going to be talking about all that in a second there, Crypto Cav. That is our next topic, is Hex and Pulsechain. We're just coming, riding through the comments. They can't stop DeFi, says Remont. They cannot. Charity in the house there. Hey, all good to see Charity. Who else is in here? We've got Mr. Rock Jockey. Good to see Mr. Rock Jockey. I think this is the first time I've seen you in the chat there, so good to see you. Raymond says this US just mafia blackmail. Yeah, a bit like that. Xenologist says Kraken users are welcome to stake Hex. They are indeed. You stake your Hex and you mint your own Hex. So there we are. That's pretty cool. Check My Pulse says DeFi is nice. Very, very nice indeed. And yeah, back to that last comment that you made, will push people into DeFi. Yeah, so people are going to come to DeFi more, but it's also important that we educate people too. And Pulsechain community, Hex community, as we saw in the video yesterday, the most engaged. And we're going to look at that video again shortly. Hex community is so engaged on that. So really is pretty cool. Check My Pulse says DeFi exchanges offer more yield than Coinbase. They do indeed. And Dave Dunner says, Katie from Power City says that RH devs are working with the Aragon team, so she doesn't think the bug will be a much issue. Yeah, we do know that they're working with the Aragon team. They've let us know that before. Georgie says, when you staked your USDC on these centralized exchanges, where do the profits come from? Seems like a clear Ponzi scheme of paying old stakers with the fees of current customers. There may be a bit of that going on, Briz. So that's always the question, what they do with the balance sheet. Obviously, they also do act as validators on blockchains. So we've got a bit of a mix there. They do have other products. They lend out that money to other people and get high yields on that. So there's probably got a few different products there. They should have them all ring service though, ring circled, I say. So it should be above board. They should be in the terms of service too. So just the way it goes. Rango's in house there. Hey all, good to see Rango. DeFi staking FTW. We've got Astri in the house as well. Good to see Astri. Woohoo! Hey, howdy, Astri. Good to see you. We've got Jonathan in the house as well. LFG. What else there? Sick thumbnail, says Brazaldi. Yeah, it's pretty cool, eh? That thumbnail was pretty awesome with the tortoise on the skates. Brendan says 150k wins. Wow, that's Hex suit, man. All the best to my Kiwi friends. We're going to need it if it does hit us at that fall. Like I say, I think we've got another day to confirm whether it's going to hit us that hard. There's apparently a big wall, a cold air, I think it is, on the east coast of New Zealand, ginormous thing, and so the storm's coming down from the tropics, and it's just it can't get out, and so therefore it's coming straight. Imagine a wall right next to New Zealand, and it can't go that direction, so it's got to come down and hit us, which is not great. So that's the way it goes. I think it's a category 3 at the moment. Francis House there, good to see you at the fire. Very, very cool. All right, let's move on to the next topic, folks. Hex. And of course, let's do it. All right, so Hex here. Unfortunately, Hex is moving down. Now, when we say unfortunately, because obviously we were on a real tear with the price, and we're actually doing pretty well up until this point. So you can see, let's go to the 4-hourly chart. It's probably a bit easier to follow. And this is a 4-hourly chart. So we have this massive rally going on, right? So let's do the old overview first. So let's take us from, I don't know where we're going to take us. Let's take it from here and go all the way up. So we were up pretty much 220% in 36 days. So that's pretty good. 221% in 36 days, off the bottom of about 1.7 all the way up to 5.576. We as Brennan pointed out yesterday, resistance at 5.6. We tried to get over that a couple of times on the hourly chart and didn't manage to do it. So that's kind of where we are there. Now I'm going to break it down back into the hourly chart here for a reason. So we ended up, see these candles here on the hourly. We failed to break 5.6, and that was very important for us to blow up even further. And then of course we came back down and consolidated here. We got down to about 5.077. We sort of mulled around there, got up early morning my time. So what time was this in the morning? This was about 4 o'clock in the morning. So I was asleep, dreaming about Pulsechain coming and DeFi, just the usual things that crypto people and influencers think about, right? In the community. We don't count sheep. We count blockchain blocks and trends. I'm just kidding. All right, so we got all that, and then of course 4 o'clock in the morning, and then Richard Hart posted his tweet. Right, Richard Hart posted his tweet, and of course this is the tweet here. So let's get into it. Richard Hart posted this bug slaying. He goes. So this is 7 hours ago now. It was 4 hours ago when I first saw it, but of course this is 4 o'clock in the morning my time. Bug slaying, he says. Geth and Aragon, remember these are the execution clients, and we've got the other two, the Lighthouse and the Prism, which are the consensus clients, where you do the validating and you can affirm the blockchains. And so the Geth here with the smart contracts stuff in it, and the blocks, block data. So we've got Geth and Aragon. Now remember, Geth is the original one, and Aragon forked Geth and upgraded and simplified things. Remember, it simplified things so that you wouldn't have to have as much data. It's like a third amount of data that you need, or a quarter. Maybe it's 25% of the data. I think it's like 4 terabytes versus 16 or something like that. So that is kind of the difference there. Building the same header. So this is the data header sheet here, but Aragon is generating a different tree root here. So basically the database structure there. This is breaking the Aragon sync. So obviously they were still towards the back end of syncing the Aragon. And of course, when we first saw it, was way early, still quite early in the syncing and so forth. So we ended up getting these images, and we've got the a bug printout here. So it's got the word bug there. It's got a big X in there, unfortunately, but got the bug there. And we've also got the Aragon on the other side, the Aragon client on this side. But basically, the idea was that we got print block. This gives us an idea of the block. We got the block there, 15669697. So that's 15,669,697 the block there. And of course, they're syncing this. And of course, this is where the issue came into play. So if we look at a couple of people have posted these sort of tweets on Twitter. We've got one here from Tiago Diaz. And hey guys, you guys selling Hex, realize Pulsechain testnet V3 sync is 19,976 blocks away. So very close to finishing the syncing process here, away out of 15,689,673 blocks, right? And so he's pointing out that this update that Richard gave us on the 21st of January, the block was currently 7 hours ago. Stage 7 takes a long time, and of course we knew we were up to stage 8. It's on the block 6664977 out of 15 million. So that was the total number there, and of course we could see that we were heading towards that here, but we fell short. So that's where we are at the moment. And of course he posted the comparison of this 25th of January update from Richard over to the current snapshot, and you can see that number there. And that was the difference. So he was comparing the original one here that we had from 25th of January with the block syncing to this block here up the top here. So it was just short. And fortunately I'll post this link in the chat here so you guys can have a look at that. So that is a copy of the link if you want to give that a tweet or something. And block sync. And a link. Let me put that in. Sync. That is that one there. Let me just post that down. Oh, we got a few more comments. So that is the sync there. You can see that. So that is one there. And of course, then we had someone else on there called Syncman there. He points out that Pulsechain Aragon syncing is 99.87% complete. Too good to be true. And of course, he's put over the ratios there. And of course got the current block height that got the bug issue, which is 15,669,696, and of course you can see that up the top here. It's probably a bit hard to see, but that's where it is there. And of course the total amounts of blocks there, so the 15689,673, and that's what Tiago was pointing out with the original tweet there that was that we were talking about there. So that is the total numbers of blocks that we were looking to sync up to. And that was the play. So that was pretty interesting. So we're actually very well through it, if you think about it. Very well through indeed, 99.87. So things are progressing well, but it came up to a bug on the block. So there we are, bug slaying. And of course, as the comment says, Geth and Aragon are building the same header, but Aragon is generating a different tree root there, basically data structure, and something didn't add up to the Geth versus the Geth. Remember, Aragon's a fork of Geth there, and of course the Geth is really the dominant one. And Aragon there is, I think it's currently on Ethereum, it's running about 7% of the market supply, whereas Geth, I think something like 85 or something like that, 83, 85% of the of the execution clients being run on Ethereum. Now, this is Pulsechain news, he said, not mainnet ETH, and of course it's a snapshotted all the way up to the breaking block. So we got, as Suckman says there, we're like 99.87% through. And then we got a breaking block there. So once fixed, all days of previous think process is maintained. In other words, they've got a snapshot all the way up to, all the blocks always snapshot all the way up to 99.87. So really they just have to work out what was the bug that's causing the issue there. Versus Geth, for example, it's a snapshot all the way up to the breaking block. So once fixed, all days previous things process maintained. So they'll be working with the Aragon team probably and sort that out. So as someone mentioned that KDP was talking about, so that's definitely in place. So that was some of the updates. Now I'm going to post this tweet as well in case you guys want to check that out. Let me copy that too. Sync 2. Bam. So you can check that out. Bam. All right. So that is the comments there. Let's just go through some of the comments in the chat there before I move on. We've got Jonathan in the house. Hey, Jonathan, or John, I should say, John the Ore, up with the rockets. I like that. All these issues with centralized exchanges are opening the door for our RH ecosystem. Absolutely. And that's what I say on this channel all the time, that all the things that are happening on CeFi and centralized exchanges are amplifying the Pulsechain. We couldn't ask for a better dream run, honestly. Brazogi says, just seems like the Hex chart is moving with the rest of the markets. I'm going to show that that's not the case. But we'll talk about that. Praying for the gods' protection over beautiful New Zealand, and that God's protection over beautiful New Zealand, and that storm will not come to your territory. Amen to that one, Umberto. Sandy Beach says, that was my post Wendy O dreaming about Pulsechain launching. Nice one. And we've got Detached Soul in the house there. Yo, 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 good to see you, Detached Soul. John the Ore says something like 800 gigs now. Sandy Beach says, LBTT, she was asked about what you were dreaming about. I'm not sure. I said Pulsechain. I see a Pulsechain and blocks and transactions. Humberto says, if they are in the sync process, must be very close to public testing. Yeah, they had all the stages. Remember, there were 16 stages for that. So I'm not sure where that is at the stage now that the syncing has stopped. So still looks like there. Does this mean that stage 7 is done? V3 will launch. Yeah, we were up to stage 8 was coming up after that, right? So I think that was the update we had on that. Yeah, stage 7 takes a long time. So we were up to stage 8 with our last update, if I remember rightly from Richard. Let's go. We're going to Richard's update here, so let's jump back out of there. And the last update we had. Remember, this is where we're up to with the Aragon Pulse Sync. We're 20 hours into stage 8. So this is probably related to that. So it's hard to tell where the timing is of that is. So we won't go trying to speculate too much. The last update was on stage 8 of 16. So we'll see where they go. They're obviously testing it at the moment. Code was complete, so it looks like they're just doing the testing side of it. They're probably running them in they're supposed to run them in sequentially rather than in parallel, which is how Geth works, all sort of works together. So that makes Aragon much faster, a much quicker system to do, less data. What's up, folks? It's Brian. Made it. Good to see you, Brian. Check my pulse as an hour says we're getting closer. Fortunately for me, time has been flying by. Really busy with works. Months seem like weeks. Bring on Pulsechain. Kendo1 says, hey, Superman, shout out to your mate and everyone. Another day closer to woohoo. Alpha info, as always. I appreciate the Kendo1. IT does it, but it doesn't. It doesn't, but it doesn't. We're always on the top. Cool. Jonathan says, the floor is lava. It is indeed lava. Brendan says 16 stages together. Sandy, I believe 7 was the most time consuming. That's correct. And we also had a tweet there on stage 8 that we're on stage 8. So they probably, maybe there's a back and forth there going with those two stages. Okay, thanks, Hex Token. There are 16 stages. There are. Now, I did cover the 16 stages on a live stream. I did it a week ago? I went through all the different stages. Do you remember that? So maybe I'll do that again tomorrow. We'll bring them up again and we'll try and add all this up tomorrow. Thanks, Brennan. I think they're sort of maybe going back and forth on some of these stages here, or they're running some of them, because generally that with Aragon you do it sequentially, so every step sort of goes one after another, as opposed to Geth, it's sort of big parts of those phases are done together. It makes it heavier data-wise, and that's why you got a big Aragon's just a more efficient version generally of a Geth. But Geth is the battle-proven, tested system that's why it still dominates a lot of the market, I believe. Smash the likes, Hexskins. Definitely smash the likes, KD. All right, so let's get into it. So this was our big update that we had from Richard. I thought it was a pretty unfortunate one. I don't think it's something that he should have posted myself. So you guys know I just give my frank view of things. It's just, but he's going to learn. He's going to learn that you don't post stuff, even if it's not even material. Too much of the market doesn't understand what's going on, and that's just the way it goes. So unfortunately, the same timing that we got this update, and it's good to get updates. We want updates, but this one probably wasn't the most productive one. And my point was that when we got this update, that's when the market tanked. So the market sold this off, and maybe some people got confused, thought, oh, things are really screwed, and down the market went. And it went all the way down. It got down to 4.248 cents. It then had a little rally back up to 4.538 cents. And then it's just got sold down again, down to where we get down to 4.2 cents there. And then, of course, it's had a little bounce now, 4.238. So when is it going to finish? We will see. We've got a little bit of support down here at 3.8. And, of course, we are down at that bottom, that support level at 4.3 to 4.8 we're talking about, and so forth. Now, I haven't checked whether the liquidity is still there from the original whale. I thought it got pilled, so that's something I'll have to check later on, just haven't had time. We are going to have a brief look at liquidity, generally speaking. So that is where we are. 4.2 is where we are, and so maybe we'll bounce from here. I mean, I think there's a fairly good chance where you might. And this is where we've had some other resistances. This may very well become support in this zone. If we do break down that, then we're looking down at 3.8, right? So I'd be pretty hopeful we do it here. And I think the market may be realizing that it's just business as usual for the Pulsechain stuff. Obviously, they're going to be addressing any bug issues that came to fruition during the syncing process and things like that. And of course, they'll sort it out. And Richard's indicated, the snapshot all the way up to the breaking block point. So once fixed, all the days of previous sync will be maintained. So they're just doing business as usual and deal with any of those issues so that when it does go to testnet, it's pretty cool. And if they find any further little minor bugs or whatever else they find, it will be fixed up before mainnet. So that's kind of business as usual. Unfortunately, the market sold off on it, and it's a lesson learned, I would say, a lesson learned. All right, so cool. We're going to move on from that. That is kind of cool. We've still got an update, though, so we'll take that to the bank, right? We'll take that to the bank. Let's have a quick look at the whale bot over the last 24 hours. We had 2.7 million hex bought for 150k 24 hours ago. So we've had so much activity on this bull run that we had with the hex. 7.3 million hex just sold for 384,000. That was 23 hours ago. 1 million hex staked for 1,000 days. Awesome. That's what hex is all about. And of course, they're front running the hex gold whale stake coming out. And of course, 1 million hex there staked for 1,094 days. That's kind of cool. So we love to see these big amounts of hex getting staked, and people get rewarded for it, right? It's a win-win situation. So it's cool. 8.1 million hex sold for 490,000 20 hours ago. And we had 2 million in stake here. Look at this in stake here. Crazy, right? 1,086 days out of 2,200. So early in stake, negative 2% ROI. The penalty was 4.2 million. The reward was 4.2. But man, that's some crazy stuff there. Your friend Somni's even got a response to this. Wallet 8188 as early in stake, probably needs cash. Penalty 4.2 million, $214,000 in penalty, folks. At 50 cents, that would have been $2.1 million. Staker class receives 4.2 million hex. Service saluted. So thank you very much for your service, basically. That is the play. All right, so we're going to jump away from that. We had 5.8 million sold for 277,000, I should say, USD 7 hours ago. We had 17 million mature there. Look at this, beautiful. 17 million, folks. They staked for 1,095 days, so real OG stake here, and they got 151% APY. That's how you do it, folks. And they ended up getting a reward. Get this, folks. Take a seat. 26 million hex. Woohoo! They had 2,750 T-shares, and that is the play there. So that is how you do hex stakes, folks. To fruition there. Pretty crazy stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with their wallet. All right, it'll be interesting to see. 352,000 hex in staked as well. Penalty of 10%. More penalties for us. 3.5 million 4 hours ago, sold for 157,000. This is when we started getting the selling in, right? 1.9 million hex in stake there as well. 5% ROI. And maybe they sold that down. Hard to tell, right? We have seen stakes. We have seen a few stakes in stake into the price bump. And of course, with the sell, people sell even more when there's fear in the market. 4 million hex there. Penalties again, 2.8 million this time. Crazy, 811 days out of 1,444 days. Crazy stuff there. Let's see if there's any comments on that. Yeah, that's probably how we think about it. Like, what the fudge? What the fudge is going on there? Pulsechain's coming, man. Unless these people need the money or unless their account's been hacked, it's a bit of a mind boggler. 4.3 million hex here sold for 194,000. That is the play. Some people might play on the speculation that if they catch the top of a fall and it goes to the bottom, they may end up being able to capture the yield, but you've got to have the timing just right on those moves. 2 million hex there in staked. 1.1 million hex, penalty 974,000. No more penalties in there, folks. Crazy, crazy, crazy. We've got some more there, more penalties. Man. So if you're a hex staker, you're going to get a share of 50% relative to your T-share ownership for these penalties. So pretty awesome stuff there. And then 1 hour ago, we had 4 million hex sold for 173,000. Obviously, that's showing in the chart. So that's the hex whale bot over the last 24 hours. Let's have a look at liquidity pair. And of course, we're not doing a deep dive, so I don't know what's happened to the original whale that set up stuff. I have to go check that out after this live stream. Just haven't had enough time to do that. But here is the formation at the moment of liquidity. And of course, you can see it has changed completely since we were on this bull run of Hex. So this run up of Hex here changed completely. And of course, look at this. So this is the This is the buy side on this side. So obviously the price is lower here. This is the sell side. This is people over here. This is sell side. And of course you got the bids on here, the asks on here. And you can see we only had, we were sitting, this was not here. This was not here before. And we only was basically sitting, we had no supply for sale. And we were pushing the price up. And of course the price was, where was it up here? It was up this way. It was up here, basically. It was up here. And of course, then now we've got this all, we've got to go through all the hurdles. Now, you guys know, often when the price does, if it does a move back, then some of this liquidity moves around all the time, right? So people are moving in and out of these liquidity positions. This is the biggest trading pair, of course, the 0.3% fee on the V3. And of course, you can see where we are at the moment. So, you know, we can move through. We've got $1 million in each of these candles. So these blue candles are all $1 million X. So what's that? About $42,000 each candle. So that's how many buys you'd have to do. $42,000 to buy that, $42,000 to buy that, etc. So you got to go up here as you move forward. So that's pretty much how you get through those candles. Now that's 1 million candles. Now yesterday when I last looked at it, there were 2 million. There were about 6 or 7 million candles, 6 or 7 candles here, and they're all around about 2 million each. So I think at the time that was around about $100,000 to get through each candle. At the moment, it's about 42,000 to get through each of these. So on the buy side, buying this up, pushing the price up. And obviously, liquidity can move around. When people think that there's a trend on, they'll pull the liquidity and all sorts of stuff like that. So that is pretty much that on the V3. Let's have a look at the overall. So this is just the top trading pair. We've got 4 main ones. Let's have a look at the overall. So you can see, I'm going to refresh this actually just to make sure we've got the latest data. You can see all of our top pairs here that are trading, and you see that USDC Hex is dominating with 45%. There's 2 pairs in there, and of course we've got Hex ETH there as well. That is 21%. There's 2 pairs in there as well. Hex Hedron, I think there's only 1. I have to double check that, but that's pretty much it. And Hex goes there. But let's jump down to the bids and the asks. Man, this is flipped around. Before we had it was the opposite way around. It was even better. We had all the bids up at about 20, was it start off at about 11 million or something, and the ask was down at like 6 million if I remember rightly. This is flipped around 40 60, and of course that means that there's lots of sale, and of course we saw part of that on the V3 liquidity there. So we're going to want to flip this around and get the bids on back on. And obviously this just shows what's on the market that we can see. Obviously the stuff that comes off market, in other words, people just decide to take it out of their wallets and buy. We don't see that stuff, right? Limit orders and things like that as well. So that is kind of cool. And the price at the moment is on a green candle. Hex Token channel pump. Thank you very much. You're welcome. You're welcome. I do what I can. I do what I can. That's what I say. Guys, I'm just talking about the price. I'm not actually pumping the price, but we have our Hex Token channel pump on here on the hourly. That is pretty much it. So let's go to the daily and have a look at that. So this is the daily chart here. We're going to get rid of the overlays, and that's what our chart looks like at the moment. So we've still got a bullish move on the move as well. So you never know, we might get a zigzag recovery over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, once people slap themselves on the face and realize that Pulsechain is still moving ahead, and actually we're much closer than people think, as you saw with the sinking there, 99 point, almost 100% there. So things are still moving along, and I'm sure they'll address the issue that's at hand. That's just the way it goes. All right, so cool. What else was going to say about that? I think that's it. Let's have a look at the RSI. So the RSI did get overheated. We're in overheating there, and it's pulled back off. So we're now back into 61. I've got plenty of room to zigzag our way back up for a second go. And of course, all you have to do is just calm down, find the bottom here, and then hopefully zigzag it back up. There's really no, well, the market can do what it wants, but it's still looking pretty good at the moment. So let's see how we go. Let's see if we can consolidate today, tomorrow, and maybe possibly move up over the weekend. Now, it will also depend on what's happening with the wider market, as we saw Bitcoin and ETH pulling back a little bit there. So that does influence the chart, as Brazology was kind of hint there. But really, the move down was timed pretty much at when Richard gave the update. And probably one that he should have just left that one out there and talked about it once it was fixed. Hey, we fixed the bug. We fixed the bug at sync number 99.89. All right, well, lesson learned. That's all I'll say about that. All right, so we have other news. We just hit 4.3 cents. Woohoo! All right, we're doing well, folks. It really is. Pretty good. All right, so we're at 4.3 cents. Let's jump over to Pulsex. Yes, we got Pulsex news. So Pulsex.com. Apparently the site was down yesterday. Hey, but here's the thing. PulseX info, which is where the sacrifice was for PulseX, that'd been running up. That's still up. I was wondering why it was up. I thought it would have been pulled down on the 4th of April last year when it officially was finished, but it was still sitting up there. But you go to it now and you cannot get to it. You cannot collect to connect to pulsex.info. It's a no-burger. Access denied. Access denied. So that's pretty much it on PulseX. That was a little update there. Just thought it was interesting. So we are obviously getting closer and closer. We can also see that on Pulsechain testnet, which is the proof of work version, the block times have come down, gone up, sorry, from 3 seconds to 7.2, and it's getting a bit lazy on there, getting a bit lazy, but people can still play around on the old proof of work version on Pulsechain. So it looks like things are slowly changing there. I haven't checked to see whether there's a recent sacrifice. I haven't heard anyone talk about it, so a sacrifice update, but that's pretty much it on the PulseX. So interesting stuff happening with some of these existing stuff. Moving to the future, no doubt, is Pulsechain. So that's kind of cool. We're going to jump over to Hedron. Before we do, though, let's catch up in the chats and not get too far behind, as I say. So let's have a quick look where we're at to. Where we're going here. Let me jump up the top here. We've got a few people in the house that have jumped in here. Since I've been talking about Pulsechain, Pulse Gains, Pulsechain changing DeFi for good. It's going to be expanding DeFi, taking over the market share of crypto is all DeFi, and people are going to be coming out of the woodwork. We're going to have SHIB coming, folks. Link coming. Everyone's coming. It's going to be fun. Ivan on Tech is coming, and of course we're going to play that. Let's play that actually. Let's go back. Let's go back. We're going to get into Hedron. So let's play this. We're going to play the old Ivan here. Let's go.
Have you ever seen any other community to have better engagement than Hex? Let the people on Twitter know. Yeah, so this is very interesting. We were just discussing yesterday on Twitter that the Hex engagement is crazy. It's crazy. The Hex engagement, the Pulse engagement, it is probably the most active community on Twitter that can be mobilized in a millisecond. And speaking about Pulse and Hex, we are looking forward to the testnet. So this is from a few days ago, from February the 3rd, where Richard tweeted, Go Pulse, Prism Pulse, Lighthouse Pulse, and Aragon Pulse are code complete. So this is quite interesting. Basically, he's doing all of the different clients, which is interesting because it takes a lot of effort to just do one client, but it's going to be many clients. So whenever we do an intro with Richard, we're going to discuss this because just doing one is a lot of work, and doing three can be in a way seen a bit redundant because you just want to go live and test it. But I mean, it's good with client diversity. That's always good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that intro whenever we're going to have it. This Aragon Pulse sync is 20 hours. Yeah, so all in all, seems to be bullish. And I'm looking forward to seeing my locked pulse in the new testnet, because that's what I saw in the last testnet. I could see my pulse. I could not move them, but I can see they're staked in the testnet. So from a community engagement perspective, this is very strong. And also they have the block explorer, very good. And basically, so what we will do when Pulse launches is that we're going to integrate it into Moralis Mania, so that when you come here and you look at, for example, Vitalik's address, right now we show you assets that any address has from ETH, Binance, Polygon. We're going to add Avalanche, Phantom, and we're going to add Pulse when it comes out, so that you can look at any address and you see what they have in Pulse, like what kind of NFTs they have in Pulse, what kind of history they have in Pulse, and so on and so forth. Yeah, we hope to help the Pulse community to see what kind of odds they have. But I'm also interested how Richard will, how he will develop the community, because Pulsechain, by definition, means that people are gonna do all kinds of shitcoins, all kinds of new coins, new projects, new initiatives. And Richard traditionally doesn't like that. He wants people to buy Hex and not buy anything else. So that's going to be an interesting conflict of interest to see how it evolves. Will he just not mention any coins and only speak about Hex and Pulse? But at the same time, you want to be welcoming to projects. I mean, otherwise, why do you build a platform where people can program? The point is that people will come and build something. And when you build something, it's most certainly going to have a coin that other people can buy. So I'm also interested in discussing that when we're going to have an intro. Are builders welcome on Pulse to launch coins and to go nuts? or not. But I guess they're welcome. Listen, it is programmable. That's the whole point.
All right, so that was Ivan on Tech, one of the big, maybe probably top 20 influencers in crypto. Got about 500,000 YouTube subscribers and about 400,000 on Twitter. So a major player, and of course been a big deal in terms of offering education and blockchain and software. He also obviously got his own site there, Morales.io, and talking about bringing Pulsechain to that. So that is a major adoption aspect for Pulsechain going on to that product. So very excited about that. And of course he's looking to have Richard on when Pulsechain Testnet V3 launches. So I think that's going to be pretty awesome. See how things are starting to move, folks, when you start getting these big influencers who are also sacrificed for Pulsechain as well. They're going to be adopting it if they've got any platforms like Morales, for example, as well. So really positive. And the reach of these people is as big as you get, right, in crypto. So we also know that BitBoy is out there, and Carl the Moon, and lots of other people out there that have sacrificed and involved. It's going to be pretty epic. You can see how this is going to snowball, right? The crypto needs this sort of big move, and Pulsechain is going to blow minds, honestly. It's just the fundamentals are just getting more and more every day. And material, right? Material, substantiated material things are happening to the fundamentals for Pulsechain. Is going to be epic. All right, let's get into some of the comments before we get into Hedron. Let me find out where I was at to. At two. Is that a quote phrase of English? At two. Tom Boson, how's their weekend selling after the update? I'm sure the next positive update pumps the price 20%, so all good. Hex is currently at 4.313 cents at the moment. Billy X says people want updates. Well, there you go. Lol, they're going to buy back when good news comes, as always. Hey, look, they may not even have to wait for good news. Sometimes the market just does this to move itself back up because the more mature part of the market that understands what's going on starts pushing the market back up. So that's always possible too. Xenologist says RH latest tweet shaking out the weekends, toilet paper hands. Yeah, that is true, Xenologist there. Is that a bit of a reference? Crypto market breaking our beautiful price structure for Hex, says Brennan. And Pulse Fusion says, morning Superman, love your stream, champ, living and learning to be myself again, but life throws challenges at you, but you just hang on watching your awesome show, refreshing. So thank you, champ. I appreciate that, Pulse Fusion. And as you guys know, I'm just on the same journey as everybody else. The only difference is I decided to stream it, which is kind of cool. All right, so QQ's announced there, yummy dip. Hey, good to see you. It is a yummy dip. So everything's always an opportunity. And of course, you get the Hex cheaper after the big rally. Pulsechain's still coming. There's no change in the narrative. We got Toby Wan in the house. Sup, all? Hey, good to see you, Toby Wan. Big shout out to you. KD in the house there as well. Buy the dip, gangsters. Buy the dip. That's right, KD. And of course, Blobfish King says just about to buy some more. Nice one. Brennan says, hey Toby. QQ says loaded up more fiat for this week. Nice one there, QQ. Now, like I say, a lot of people are going to take the opportunity. We're going to obviously look to see where it settles, and I think it's looking pretty good around now. This was really bottom of the whale range that was originally set, so looking pretty good. Toby One says, hey Brennan, shout back at you in the chat there. Toby One says, Xenologist, yep, paper-handed weaklings that don't understand stake and chill. They will likely miss any X's playing day trade. That's true. Hashtag Rick. That's a very good advice there. Works with me. I'm happy to buy the dips as well, says Toby One. Let's jump through some of those comments. We've got DB Cooper in the house there. Hex is the GOAT. Absolutely is the GOAT. And is a proxy for Pulsechain. Remember that. Until the Pulsechain, Pulsecoin is up and running, Hex is the proxy. It eats up the news, buy and sell. So remember, if you're thinking, how do I get Pulse? Well, the way you get it at the moment is through Hex. Now, obviously not investment advice. Nothing on this channel is due diligence, but that is what is happening here. Brazil says, thank you for pumping the price, man. Hey, you're welcome. You are welcome. That is a pleasure. Welcome. Seriously, stop it. Let's go, guys. All right, let's move on. Brendan says, Hex token pump. Yeah, definitely on the chart there. Chart looks fine, says QQ. It does look fine. Yeah, I think it looks fine, especially if it bounces up at 4.2, 4.3. I think that's pretty good. Otherwise, 3.8. Pump it, Hex token, says Machiavelli. We do our best. We do our best. We do our best to do that, honestly. Stop pushing the horn, guys. Stop pushing the horn. We're trying to do commentary on the chat there. We got the Xenologist says, I wish I could pump the Hex price to 10 cents in a one green candle just to watch your reaction there. That would be pretty funny if you had that sort of dry powder on you. That'd be pretty hilarious there. Illegal Blitz says, is CowSwap safe to use? ETH fees have been killing me. Yes, CowSwap is safe to use. We've got all the links. So we've got all the links to Hex and Pulsechain, all the Pulsechain projects that are coming on in our Discord. The link is in the video description. I'm sure one of the moderators will post our Discord link in the chat there. Now, Discords, Telegrams, all those sort of things, they're only as good as the community. So get in there and use it. It's free. We've got all the information listed. Honestly, it's such a good layout on Discord. So get in there and get involved. That's all I can say. It's going to be super busy when Pulsechain launches. The community is going to explode in growth. It's going to be unbelievable. So definitely get into Discord and get those, get the best out of it as you can. All right. Humberto says, Ivan on text comments are largely due to the community streamers led by Superman. Thank you, Superman, for everything you continue to do. Hey, you're welcome, Humberto. I think our ecosystem will eventually onboard Elon Musk. I think there's a chance of that, Humberto. I really do. I thought of that myself. I think there's a chance of that, and yeah, you might be surprised. Move along Dogecoin, and bring on Hex coin. Someone told me the other week, I'm not holding your bag for you because I was shilling X. MF, you can't. I'm 100% staked, says John. That's a nice one, John. I wish I sacrificed more for Pulsechain. Hey, that's an interesting comment. Let me know in the chat if I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to do a poll on the Hex Token Discord after the live stream, whether you are around sacrificing more for Pulsechain. I'll give a couple of options, and let's see what you say, because I have seen that out there. It'd be interesting to see what people say. What else? Let's jump to some of this. Let's go through that. Sandy says, I love the air horn now. Stop pushing it then, Sandy. Stop pushing the air horn. Stop pushing it then. Discord has awesome mods too. That does. I agree with that. And Brennan says Elon to promote Pulse Dogecoin. No, Hex coin, Hex and maybe Pulsecoin, Hex Pulsecoin. I love that project, but let's keep our rankings in the right order. All right, so cool. We've got Hedron. Let's get into it. We're up to an hour and 7 minutes on the hour, so we're doing actually pretty good. Let me just hide the old Ivan on text video because I don't want to play that again. Let's go. Bam. All right, so we have the Hedron here is currently at 2,154 with 5 zeros in front of it. It has obviously pulled back with Hex. Was up yesterday at 2,769, so it has come down a bit there. Let's have a look on the old summary. We can see it's down 22%, 54 buys, 68 sells. So it's the sellers dominating there, but the volume is 73%, so a big volume change there, and down it goes. So that's $638,000 versus $240,000, but obviously most of that is in the last 6 hours there. $33,000 versus 146 buy. So it's going to have to wait to soften up there. 2154. Obviously, it's got a bit of a natural support at 2,000. It's kind of just above that at the moment, just a bit like Hex is above 4 cents. Hedron is above that. Now the DMI, the RSI has pulled off. It was overbought just like Hex. Come down. So that's what I'm saying. This could be kind of a healthy thing with a bit of a sell-off here, pull back. So I wouldn't see it completely that way. It's also always an opportunity, of course, buying cheaper. But a bit of a cool off in the RSI is kind of nice for the next sort of, zigzaggy move up. That's kind of where we're going. Pulsechain's not going anywhere. It's moving closer and closer, as we saw with those updates today. DMI is the trend has pulled back, obviously, with the price move, but the buyers are still dominating the sellers, and the trend has dropped off. We're up at 74 on the DMI for the confirmed trend. Remember, over 25 confirmed trend. We're up at 74. It was pretty epic on the old Hedron. Really nice, solid move. 41 is where it is at the moment, so it's still over 25. We'll see how this battle goes on in the next 24 or 48 hours as that tries to hold up that sort of bullish tone on the old Hedron. That is pretty much it. Let's get into the HSIs. This is the Hex HSIs. We've got 4,191 Hex HSIs in the liquidation queue that have not yet been bought into the auction house, and you have to actually start the auctions. And of course, coming up on the 12th of February, I think we're going to have something circa 25,000 T-shares over that sort of next 4-week period. They're going to be launching basically round 2, and we're looking forward to see a net burn out of that process. That's what you want to see, are these big Hex HSIs. So there's going to be a lot of T-shares coming into this mix here. I think first day is about 6,700 or something like that. So it's going to be fun to see. Now in the actual auction house today, we've only got 15 that are left, at least at the moment. So let's have a look here. What we got? Any big ones? We've got 12 T-shares here, 3 T-shares, 35 T-shares. So there's a little bit there. So something for everybody, the bigger players, the smaller players. So we've had quite a few that have just been won here as well. So that's kind of cool. That's a Hex exercise. Let's go jump to Dev Huey. And of course, he always gives us the alpha around the ICOSA Hedron ecosystem. And of course, 3 watts of NFTs burned in the last 24 hours. And that was basically 24 hours ago. And of course, 335 endpoints. So that's where we are at the moment. At least where we were the last update he gave us. 21,654 watts of NFTs are left. Oh, it's not really last man standing, I always say. It's the last crowd standing because no one wants to give these things up. So that's pretty much where the wattses are. Let's jump over to the other update. Of course, 14 hours ago, guys, big watts burning continues. He says big, but still not that much. Just past $500,000 mint value burned, which is over 2.5% of total. That's, for me, it's kind of slow, but hey, look, we reached, when we got back up to like 64 cents, people were pretty much at break even if you're in the first week or so. That's it rocketed past that, didn't it? In fact, let's have a quick look at the price. Now, the reason why I'm not covering any other charts today is because there's not really anything to highlight out of them, but we will have a quick look at ICOSA. Let's have a look here. Find the right pair. We'll take that pair, I guess. Look. So, yeah, 68 cents on this, on ICOSA, but did get up. This is on the daily, did get up about a week ago. It was up at 98 cents, which was a nice pullback and jump back from 29 cents or whatever. So really awesome here. It's currently at 67, 68, so still in the profit, in the money for people. And of course, they've got more yield on top of that too. So it should be pretty healthy there. I'm sure Wookie is happy about that. So that is where that's at. Pretty cool. Let's have a look at the total. So only 2.5% burn. Like I say, last crowd standing. Look at that crowd there in blue. It's a slow burn, but maybe it'll start to accelerate as we move in to the months ahead, especially if the price holds up. The early people will burn. But hey, if the price is going to stay up like that, you just keep earning the yield, right? That makes sense. But of course, I think there's a big stakes coming out, I think, in a couple of days too. So just be careful of that. There's some big stakes. I think we covered that the other day on Dev Huey as well. So yeah. All right, let's jump away from that and let's move on to the Hex Daily Stats. Why not? Let's do it. Day 165, hot off the press. We're going to get into this straight away. And, of course, we've got the 9th of February, 4.2 cents, down 21%. Boo, but it's an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity. That's what we can say. Boo, but it's an opportunity. Hey, look, the price snapshot at 4.2 cents, but Hex is already back up at 4.332 on the live chart. So people were taking the opportunity. There we are. Payout per T-share, 6.872 is the Hex payout. That includes quite a bit of penalties today. We saw that in the whale bot. We went through all those transactions. And man, good to be a Hex T-share owner. It just keeps getting better and better with this yield. Pulsechain's coming. Price is moving higher. You can't be too salty about that. It's pretty cool. Yield plus price appreciation. You're living the dream in DeFi. And of course, that's Richard Hart's ecosystem. So epic. Increase in T-share there, 12.9 Hex per T-share. We're up to 25,724. Now, that's just going to go up. And remember, on the 16th of February, that's going to jump big time. Let's jump over to powerhexfire.io by Crispy Man. And, of course, we can see that we've got this big jump going on here on the 16th of February. Expected 600 Hex per T-share. It's going to get that much more expensive for T-shares. So all the big short-term stakers here on the global staking is everybody stakes for the next 6 months. We've got all these short stakers, remember, 30 days, 60 days. Really, this honestly, this global staking ladder is really thinning out. I mean, there's still a lot of Hex in there, don't get me wrong, particularly at the front end. That's the front of the wave, but it is really thinning out. It's looking so good. This 6 months, normally I do 11 months, but this 6 months, and wow, look at this. I mean, crazy stuff there. Quite a bit of stuff in here will be Hex OG stuff from way back, but they're getting smaller and they're more spread out, and they're particularly out at year 2030 and 2025, 26, sort of stuff like that, where people are doing like 5 years, 6 years and things, 10 years. And so we've still got the front of the wave though, 350 coming out tomorrow, the 10th, 372 million coming out after that. We've got a couple of bigger ones here, obviously what is the Hex Gold Whale for the lack of confirmation, but that is that one. And of course we've got all these other big short stem stakes. Now these ones before this big 2.36 billion can on out's before this one, these ones are all going to be the last ones to get that T-share rate before it jumps up. because after the 16th, this day here, they'll all be paying 600 Hex more per T-share. And so they're getting less T-shares, all these short-term people. Now, why do they do that? One, they get the scrape interest. That's why these larger holders do these short-term stakes. Number two, they may not necessarily sell that interest, but they want the flexibility of having a liquid position, and maybe it's just part of their portfolio too. They might have longer-term stakes, so that's the play there. And of course, they know Pulsechain is coming. That gives them flexibility, optionality around what they might do when Pulsechain launches. Also, they get a copy on Pulsechain as well of their liquid Hex or their staked Hex. So there's different optionalities going on there with the big players. But a lot of these, we've seen these for since the beginning and of the Hex, and they just keep doing these short stakes. But they're thinning out slowly and surely, and the share rate is helping that along, just the way it goes. So pretty cool. They are all doing what Hex is designed to: stake and get your interest. That's what it's designed to do. But the share rate adjusts that over time. So it's going to be fun to see what this big candle does and resets somewhere in the future. If it does that, man, oh man, it's going to impact the T-share pool, the APY, the inflation rate. You can see how it all plays out. And of course, a repeated behavior like that is going to be pretty interesting, to be honest. So looking forward to that. Yeah, going to be fun to see. All right, so that is pretty much what's happening there. Get yourself staked before you get running out of days here, folks. You got a couple of days to do it before the share rate jumps. If you are going to stake before that. Otherwise, you'll be paying 600 Hex more per T-share on the short-term stakes. And of course, you're always going to get the longer pays better, the bigger pays better bonus. But the earlier pays better is the share rate. And of course, you want to get that earlier. So just take heed of that. Now, on this projection, also towards the end of the year, we've got November, this massive jump all the way up to 32,000. So you can see the share rate based on this projection is going to be ginormously big. We're currently at 25,700, but up here by the end of November, it's at 32,000. So seriously, folks, earlier pays better. Get your stakes in, and whether you're going to do 6 monthly staking ladders or push it all out to 10 years, 25 years, sorry, 15 years, I should say, then you've got to decide on doing that. Remember, mathematically, your reward on Hex on the 10 to 15 year is absolutely phenomenal. Just goes straight up, well, maybe straight up. I'm not sure which way is the right way on the screen, but that just goes really up big time. And as you know, on this channel, I always suggest a staking ladder. Within the staking ladder, you can, if you are young enough, or if it suits you to pass it on to somebody else, then you should be having some 15 years stakes in there too, because the yield's just going to be phenomenal. And your T-shares will be preserved all that time. It's going to be pretty fancy out there. All right, so that's pretty much it. Let's jump out of there. We've got Hex Daily Stats. So $1,083 to get a T-share for short term. Longer pays better and bigger pays better. And of course, longer pays better. You can get that for a third of the price, about 10 years. Average stake length 6.51 years. So Hex people are going to be around for a long time. The APY for that, of course, those stakers is 39.59%. And of course, the ROI, you basically just time these two together. A massive ROI, so pretty cool. Liquidity in the pool, 147 million. Look at yesterday, folks, in the bull market move, 39 million it had the snapshot. Is that crazy or what? And of course, at the moment, 147 is what the Hex Daily Stats is showing. And you can find the link to hexdailystats.com on our Discord under useful links. So pretty cool. Look at that, 147. Still pretty low though. Like I say, maybe it was how many days ago? 18 days ago, we were up at 288 million X in the pool, and people were a bit daunted by that. But there's a lot for whales to buy, and then of course we see the whale play go on, and added 2 million liquidity, set up a 4.3 to 4.8 wall there. Did some purchases, pushed the Hex up towards 5 cents, about 4.9, and there's the story we wrote. Now we didn't manage to beat 5.6 cents, but that would have been an absolute super rally if we had done that. But hey, maybe we'll do it in the weekend. Who knows? Who knows once the market settles down. All right, so we're going to move away from there. Let's get into the T-shares. Where did the T-shares go? T-shares. Okay, T-shares are down 4,267. We've got 10,287,000. And what's going to happen on the 14th with these T-shares, we will find out. I suspect they could, if we don't see that big restake, then we could go down by 100,000 T-shares if I've done the numbers rightly. So that'd be interesting to see that. That'd be huge for the T-share pool, honestly. So it affects the APY and inflation and things like that. So it's going to be fun to see. All right, let's jump over to the stake percentage of coins. 10.09% of all Hex is staked at the moment. And oh my gosh, look at this, folks. Look at this. This is crazy. Look at this. This is 12.7 million Hex in penalties. You can't sneeze at that. Stake your Hex, get the inflation yield, get 50% of the penalties, sit back, get the airdrops, get the free claims, get the hedron. Just keeps coming, folks. Just keeps coming. Get the, if you were in the old days, you'd have got the uni, you got 1 inch. It just keeps coming, the yield, and you're laughing yourself all the way to, I don't know, the Bahamas or Bali or somewhere like that. Who knows? Florida Keys down in Miami with Humberto, maybe out on the, is it Florida Keys? Is it Florida Keys? All right, so jokes aside, we're moving current holders up 15 on Etherscan to 319,000. Obviously, with the price there, we've changed around there on the Etherscan. Stakers are up 39 to 118,421. And finally, holders are up 364 to 529,432. That is the Hex Day 1165, the third year of our fourth year, folks. We're on day 116 now. 1166, I should say. And we've got our base T payout is about 6.254. What will this be after the 14th? Stay tuned, because I'm sure it's going to jump if we don't get a restake on that big giant stake there. So pretty cool, folks. Hope you guys have enjoyed that today. Let's finish off here with the 15-minute chart and get rid of the RSI. Let's get rid of the RSI. Actually, I might move that up a little bit. It's hard to see. There's the 15-minute chart. Currently bouncing back there the last 45 minutes at 4.33 into the new day. Let's see if we can get a green candle today. That'd be very, very lovely indeed, leading into the weekend. Why not? All right, let's jump into some of the comments. All right, where are we up to? Hour 22 on the live. Man, I'm getting up for a record here. No, I'm not. I've done a couple of hours before, I'm sure. PSI says, cracks me up when that making 20% APR is considered a red flag. I saw that the average credit card rate was now over 20%. Crypto's a scam. Yeah, that's right. Credit cards are a scam, that's sure. Someone told me the other week, I'm not holding your bag for you. Yeah, I think I got up to that one too. Yeah, I got up to those, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Brazology says, I sacrificed about 40% more for PLSX over PLS. Yeah, I think that was probably quite common. Like even people that did Pulse sacrificed more for PulseX. Thanks for lifting my spirits, says Dave. Hey, you're welcome. I'm assuming you're talking to me, Dave. Assume you're talking to me. If not, if it's to someone else in the chat, I apologize. I don't want to steal credit. I rugged you a credit. I don't know. Stuck says, do another sacrifice for Pulse at 10x. See what happens. We got time, says Stuck. I went all in on PulseX, Genesis wallet, and with a pool. Nice. That's pretty good, Sandy. Yeah, if you got Genesis wallets for the sacrifices, man, you could end up getting a lot of good stuff from there. Obviously, there's the weight token, but man, there could be other stuff coming for those. Do you think price will stay above sacrifice price? Yes, I'm very bullish on the main chain, on Pulse in particular, out of the gate. But we do have some pretty big whales, sharks like DO1, who I think is number 8 on the sacrifice list. So yeah, we do have people that will sell down, but probably not at the beginning. I mean, these guys are rational behaviors. They might sell a little bit down for 2-3x or whatever it's going to be, but they'll be holding quite a lot for a longer period of time. But there's going to be plenty of sellers in there. But I think we're going to have how many? It's really, what is the factor in terms of the buying dollars as well? What's the factor or X that you think are going to be buyers coming in? I think it's going to be a pretty big factor coming in. It could be 100 to 1. We'll see. It's going to be pretty epic. Might be 20 to 1, something like that. It's going to be fun. No one really knows, so we can make predictions. We do have some indicators, and we could probably build some base modeling around that. But ultimately, no one really knows, right? Oh yes, I think look. So my position at the moment on that is around 10x out of the gate, and maybe 30x on the upside within the first week. I definitely with 3 to 6 months, my current range is in the 100x range. I've been always targeting a 1 cent mark and top of the range at 10 cents. It kind of feel worth, because once it really depends on how the market cap is priced as well, whether it's the public and whether it takes out all the staking stuff, and so we only have the circulating supply. And I think that's really what's going to matter is do we take all the supply sinks like staking out of the circulating supply, and then that gives us a much lower market cap rather than getting into trillions of dollars. we sit in the billions of dollars camp, and maybe hundreds of billions of dollar camp. That's kind of where I feel about that. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's defined. Willow West says, is that Discord link in the chat different to the listed Discord link on the channel below? It may be, Willow, but it's probably going to the same place. It's just depending on who put that link on there, but it's all going to our Discord. KD says people will have time to buy Pulse over time with a good DCA plan. I agree with that. Hey, look, most of the people I know that have sacrificed for Pulse and Pulsex, they're going to be buying more Pulse and Pulsex in the first couple of months, because we all know, typically for main chains, especially ones that are going to be the juggernaut that Pulse is expected to be, that the first 6 months in particular, maybe a year, is the best time to accumulate volume. So, hey, look, all the new people coming, they're going to have to compete with a lot of the sacrificing class. Some of the sacrificing class that wants to exit early, they're going to transfer, redistribute it to a lot of the people. Now, obviously, there's going to be volatility. This is markets. We just saw that with Hex. That's going to be in the game. There's always opportunities. And what happens if the price goes up 10x and a whale shark decides to exit out on that, right? So that's where you get volatility, and the price comes all the way down. Will it come 80% down? Will it go down 120%? We're going to find out. But I suggest to you it's going to probably be on the bullish upside. That's kind of where I feel there. Don't worry, though. Those same banks were offering 0.3% on savings. Yeah, that CD on savings are pretty low. Pretty low indeed. What's up, Hexkins? Good to see Tintop in the house. Who else is here? Let's jump away. Willow says that link in chat not working, says must be 2 and 32 in length. Yeah, I'm not sure. Try the one in the video description there, Willow, for the Discord. Yeah, use the one in the video description. That should be, I'm pretty sure that's the everlasting gobstopper, the link to the Discord in the video description. Looks like I'm doing an hour and a half live stream today. Normally I try to do an hour and a quarter, but sometimes it just goes over time. It's just the way it goes. Day traders moving out. Let's get real, says Stefan X. That's true too. That is a very good point, Stefan. We will overcome that crap. It says yeah. Remember, it's a family channel, Stefan. It's a family channel, so we don't use the words. Hopefully, it's been deleted. Hashtag family channel, says KD. Yeah. So two principles of this channel is that we're a no drama channel and a family channel. And hey, look, we're all tempted to talk about drama. We're all tempted not to be a family channel sometimes, but we like to keep it like that because we're really trying to give a place where people can come to and not deal with that. There's plenty of channels out there, YouTube channels, Twitter, everything else. You can go and flourish yourself in those things. I always say though, if you're going to focus on drama, especially if you're new to crypto, even if you're not new to crypto, you can end up losing the value that you're after. So maybe you're coming in to get, to make some good returns. If you focus on the drama, get caught into that, you can miss the boat. You're not doing your research on products. You're not keeping up with the latest news. You're not making the right choices at the right times. And you miss the whole game. And you might be lucky if we're in a super bull market that you can just almost buy anything and it will go up. But if you're in a period of bear market, then that really does pay. Can really hurt you. So just remember that to make sure you keep your focus correct on the right thing. That's what we try to do on this channel. Just talk about the crypto mainly and community. We like to talk about community too. Scotty's in house. SEC once again trying to destroy crypto today. Yeah, will SEC go after DeFi stacking? It's going to be hard for them to do that, Scotty, because it's on the blockchain and it's mutable. So it's going to be pretty hard for them to do that. And a lot of stuff is outside the US and as well. So yeah. Now the issue is does it affect the demand side? And this is always an issue. So there's the issue. So obviously people get caught investing in these products. Fiat gateways to those places get caught. Things like that, so they can, they do have tools to hurt the demand side, but the supply side with the contracts immutable. So that's pretty hard to do. In any case, a lot of the criticisms that the SEC have about CeFi and the staking programs are not in DeFi. We don't have them. You in Hex, you stake your Hex gets burned. That reduces circulating supply, and you get to mint it back. You're the one that mints it back at the end. There's no middleman. There's no intermediary. There's no offer terms of service from that point of view. You just get involved in yourself, so it's kind of cool. Detached Soul says, is communists a safe protocol? Apparently it is. Apparently the Pulse police have checked it out. Pretty sure I've got that on the airdrops free claims in the Discord, so you can check that one out, Detached Soul. What else? The DB says, dear sir, please tell me when Pulsechain launched to Moon. 1 day closer, DB, 1 day closer. once we fix that bug. I'm just kidding. All right, Finesse here, Bitfinex here, save the drama for your mama, says Bitfinex here. Save the drama for your mama. Yeah, thank you. You guys, come on, not really a singer. But hey, if you're going to clap, that's fine. I feel for the people claimed weight in the first week. Yeah. Hey, look, it's going to be crazy. The value upside to Pulsechain launch is going to be mammoth. It's going to really shock some people. We've got so many tools that are coming. We've got the AMM bot running in a Pulsex setup. That is such a beautiful system, man. Oh my goodness. And then, of course, the incentive token to bring in liquidity providers and drop that as well. And it's deflationary. We don't know what the profile exactly going to look like, whether it's some sort of curve or step down incremental profile, but man, it's going to be epic. People are going to be coming, and they get half of the pool for free if they have liquidity providers on each chain. They can match that up to some stable coins. And like I say, 51% of the stables at the moment for the Sacrifice wallet, if we're going to speculate, no expectations, is in DAI. So looks like DAI is a favored choice. Going to be pretty cool. All right, what else have we got there? Brazil says the US government and PRY staking on my cold dead hands. That's true. Own your keys to your coins. That's DeFi, particularly Hex.com. Check it out in the video description. Good evening, Miss Sandy Beach from Bitfinex. Sing like an angel, Superman. Don't encourage that bad behavior. Don't encourage that bad behavior. I'll probably lose 500 subscribers. All right. Scotty says, well said, Superman, about DeFi staking. Absolutely. Thanks to Scotty. Stefan's in house there. Thanks for doing this every day. It helps. It is helping. Hexkins doing this thing does a lot for overall community vibe. Hey, thanks, Stefan X. Like I say, I'm on the same gen as you guys, and I might as well stream about it. And I do enjoy the YouTubing. It is a bit of fun. So just the way it goes. PSI says, if you have a Uniswap LP position, will it be brought over to Pulsex? Like, I don't need my Hex to be liquid. Well, they're going to harvest the ETH pairs, right? So it's just the ETH pairs, not the non-ETH pairs. So they're going to get harvested, and you'll get Pulse in return. And then they're going to take your harvested ERC 20 equivalent to PRC 20 and lock that in the pool with the rest of their Pulse. So we're expecting, based on Rich's calculations originally, which was about 6% in wrapped ETH, then those pairs, all other pairs are not going to be done. But of course, it's going to be across multiple liquidity pools, Uniswap, Sushi, and everything. That we'll probably end up with around about 2.5 to 3 trillion Pulse being minted, in addition to the public amount, which is about 12.5 trillion last time I remember. And of course, that gets us to about 15.5 trillion. So that's going to be in play there. And of course, people will have to bridge over a lot of stuff. So stuff that gets copied over, they'll have to have native peering set up in Pulsex. And of course, people will be able to bridge, when the bridge opens up, they'll be able to bridge over the synthetic versions of the wrap tokens that they lock in over on Ethereum into Pulsechain, and vice versa. Remember, that's something we don't talk about much, but on the other end, we'll have Pulse on Ethereum chain. Yes, sir. And so that's kind of cool. And we have seen it on the bridge, the official bridge. That's going to be fun. So yeah, people will have those positions. Now, the Pulsex is going to be the big super DEX, but there will be other DEXs there as well. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to play. Yeah, so they're going to be swapped out for a lot of PLS there. This is the best community, says Sandy Beach. It definitely is. All right, well, we're up to an hour and 33 minutes. We're going overtime, 4.328 cents. An opportunity is in front of us. That's the way we say. And yes, Hexkins are the bestikins, says Brennan. Hexkins are the bestikins. All right, what are we up to? I think we're going to end there. Are we going to end there, folks? I think we are. Let us get back up to the last play. All right, take care, everybody. Don't forget, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. And yeah, see you in Discord as well. That's 24/7 in Discord. You can either use the audio chat and have a chat with everybody, talk about strategies and stuff, or you can just write text comments, whatever. And there's lots of useful links, obviously. We have just about every link that you can think of in the Pulsechain and Hex community. If you want to join as a member of this channel, hit the join button. We've got, what do we got? Pulsekins, Hexkins, and the Richard Hart Club. So those are 3 different memberships you can join to support the channel. And yeah, what do? We do live streams every day. Why? Because we like you. M-O-U-S-E. All right, enough of that. Rug pull, Superman. All right, well, we're going to rug pull. Bye for now.